to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening. And if you want to watch or come in and be part of the show, come in through the Stunthangar forum, and we have a link to today's program. You can come in and join the cast of our gallery. Anyways, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you come into Stunthangar Forum and you don't see the At the Bench link, it's probably because you're not logged in or you're not a member. So if you're not a member, please subscribe or join Stunthangar Forum by registering. Now, to register, you must use your real first and last name and must separate it with a space. You must also have a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, even though you're approved and you can come in, I understand that. A lot of people just like watching this on YouTube. But if you come in, you know, it's great because you get a chance to interact with our gallery, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of people have been doing this for a long time. So even if you don't have a lot of experience, if you feel you're not worthy or whatever, you know, believe me, everybody's welcome. You don't have to be a top-notch, you know, crackbox, you know, Stunthangar, stunt flyer. You don't have to be all that. Just come on in. If you enjoy, if you have the passion for flying model airplanes, come on in. You're welcome. Even, you know, some people think you have to be control line also. RC is welcome just as well. So come on in. The water is warm. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. I haven't seen Jeff in some time. Hey, Jeff, you're missing in action. Come on in. Anyway, so that's Smart Men Flying is from Jeff Riley. So when you register, like I said earlier, use your real first and last name, separated with a space. You must have a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. That's kind of the way we keep the trolls out, okay? Now, if you don't come in, if you choose not to come in and you want to still participate, you can come in, you can watch YouTube, in other words, and go to the chat box right over to the left of where I'm pointing here. And you can put in some questions in the chat box, and I do my best to make the comments and questions in the chat box a part of the show. Now, understand, it gets really busy. Sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do that during a live stream. So like I said, excuse me, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, and you need to come in during, I think I post a link somewhere close to 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I usually start the show around 6:45, but the link doesn't necessarily get posted to about almost 7 o'clock. So come on in and watch during that time, and then you can post your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to read them. I don't get to all of them just because of time. That's the only reason why I don't get to it. Anyways, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, contest coverage that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe, share, comments, all those engagements, all those activities help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar YouTube memberships. They start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And for 17 cents a day, you have our gallery. We have sometimes former national champions, and we have really good pilots. We have really good craftsmen. You can build on the shoulder of giants. You don't have to start over from scratch trying to figure the stuff out. Come on in or watch and ask these people questions. Go on Saturday's show. He's on the air, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes more than that, and sometimes multiple times a day. So it's a great value for just 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm doing it myself. I don't have to do that. I'm a member. I believe in it. I see the value in it. Hopefully you see the value in it too, and you want to be a member. So please join. And if you don't join, do the super chat. The super chat is over here below the chat box. And if you're not, and that's during the live stream, you do this super chat. Now, if you happen to be watching a replay, which a lot of people watch the replay, don't watch the live show, come in and do the super thanks. That's like, I think it's a heart with a $sign in it. Click on that and donate there. Please donate. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I come in, set the show up, then I stream it on YouTube live, and I don't come back into Sparky's channel until the next broadcast. So today's Friday. I won't be back till Monday. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. If you go there, please locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video. I believe it's the first one that comes up anyhow, but locate that and check it out. That's was a bucket list day for me. There at the Nationals, my first time, I did my official flight with Sparky's plane, which was a beautiful plane and light, by the way. And check it out. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a like, subscribe or share, comment there as well. That helps my YouTube channel grow too. Appreciate that. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. Please don't do things or say things you wouldn't do or say around your own grandchildren or children. And without any further ado, I'm now going to post a link at Stunthangar Forum. And we do that right now. So that's posted right now. I know it's bad English, but I like saying that right now. Anyways, let me check out what I call the control panel. Just bear with me for a moment here. And let's see how we're streaming. Hopefully, let me know if you can hear me. I did do a mic check earlier. Let me know if it's coming across all right. Let me see here. Where am I going? Here we go there. Anyways, I went flying today. Actually had a group of 5 of us out there today. So we had a pretty good day. Lots of fun. I only got in 4 flights because of the rotation, having to take turns and all that. But it was still a pretty good day. Beautiful weather. Started off a little bit overcast, cool, and then it brightened up and got a little bit warm. Just a second here. I'm making my way to the control panel. And I flew this week. I've flown Tuesday, I flew Thursday, and today. Hope to fly some more. I'm leaving Thursday for Las Vegas for this Las Vegas Stunt Challenge hosted by Stephen and Ruben McBride. And so I'm just trying to get all set up for that. And it looks like in the chat box, we have Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. He said, hey. And then Dennis Adamson, who's a member of our YouTube channel. Appreciate your patronage, you supporting us, Dennis. Thank you so much. He gave us a like. Gary Sinclair, who also is a member of our YouTube channel. He gave us a like and he said, did you feel the earthquake? No, I did not feel the earthquake. I didn't even know about the earthquake till just now. And then John Skukulek, he's also a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support too, Gary. And Gary's also a monitor. We have several monitors out there, and Gary is one of them. I think Craig Biswick is another one on our channel. Anyways, John Skukulek, he gave us a like. He's a member of our YouTube channel. And let me just do a little editing here. Oh, and I did post a link, so people hopefully will be coming in momentarily. Until then, I'm just going to just talk about my SV11. It is really, I'm really looking forward to competing this year. I took the same plane to Las Vegas last year, but it wasn't in the same trim as it is now. It wasn't in good trim at all last time, but it's in so much better trim that even in the wind, it flies pretty decent in the wind. Doesn't whip up too much. It's and it can penetrate through the wind going into the wind. Plane takes off. The takeoffs are really nice. The landings are even better. I love how that plane lands. It almost is automatic. So trying to get all those give me points, all those points that are easy. I'm not sure who came in first, but Mark Wise, how you doing?
How are you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I think you was the first one in. And then, hey, Gary, thank you for coming in, Gary.
There's Gary.
Yeah. Gary, you said there was an earthquake you heard about?
Well, I saw that on a news thing there. It was live news. Someone had texted, told this guy that had an earthquake there in San Francisco. So I didn't.
Oh, that's pretty far from me.
Yeah, okay, good.
Wow. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Was any lives lost or?
I don't know. I just said someone mentioned there was an earthquake there, and so.
Well, thanks for the heads up. But fortunately for me, I was
Out of the okay.
It wasn't a factor, but I hope everyone's all right who has been affected by the earthquake.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what you been up to? You been doing any flying or building, or I know you're busy with the planning for the Worlds and the Nats. You have a lot going on.
There is, and there are always spinoffs. Will and I are responsible also for Brodak. And, there's going to be an impact on Brodak because a lot of people are going to spend 2 weeks in Muncie this year. And whether they can afford, another week at Brodak, I think it'll all work out, but I imagine some of the maybe advanced and open flyers, expert flyers, might not do both. So it's a lot of spin-off. We're already searching, trying to find, hotels, Airbnbs, for 2 weeks. Personally, I don't want to pay for a hotel. That's a steep number. And then you add all the meals to that. And so, we're working on it. It's obvious to me early that since it's my first Worlds, it's not like the Nats in terms of the surroundings, the feelings. It's a real big event with people marching in and carrying flags, and with a lot of country interest, and so I think it'll be a great experience. I hope I can say that after it's over. I'll either be there or at the hospital where Chris Cox was, one or the other. But I'm excited about it, and I'm very fortunate that Paul's going to be helping me. But I do want to pay you a compliment, Charles, and the rest of the guys. I've absolutely been spending no time in the shop, and that always bugs me. And before you know it, the flying gear will be here. And I didn't make the last Monday session, so it must have been the last Friday session. When I got off, I just felt like, I just feel invigorated again. We were talking about different maneuvers. We're all kind of sitting there with our hands wondering which way it goes. And that got me back into the shop. So I encourage anyone, even if they're building 4 different planes, this is a great opportunity to get your mind wrapped around it and enjoy it. It's one of the things that Will and I and others that run contests, we do that so other people can enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
That's really why you do it. Just like being a judge or a tabulator or whatever. But that can't get to the point that you lose the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to blend in. And I'm really looking forward to the 24th year. And in 2 weeks is my birthday, and I hope it's not my last.
Yeah, hope not either. I really do.
Yeah. So you know what? No complaints. I'm just trying to figure out. I kind of feel like some of the others on here, when you have 6 planes in different states of condition, and you're always fighting. What should I do versus what do I want to do? And if I'm smart, I'll take a good project that'll get me in the air the quickest.
Yeah.
If I'm smart.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm excited again. I do have some building time that I can take, which is great. And I've been, how much I enjoy these. So for all of you, and Charles particularly, thanks for providing what's, for me anyway, a motivational couple of hours.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much. I appreciate
No problem.
it. Let me see. I think Stuart came in after Gary. Gary, did you want to add anything, Gary? I didn't want to I know we talked about the earthquake, but was there anything?
That's all right.
All right, cool. Hey, Stuart,
Yeah.
so what's been up to, Gary? I mean, Stuart. I got Gary on my mind. So, Stuart, what you been up to?
Oh, nothing much. No flying or anything. I'm still working on getting that hot tub out tomorrow, I hope. And it's got to go through that wall outside.
Okay.
That's the big thing. Then I'll have twice the shop size, which will be really nice.
That's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. Yeah, you have to give us a show and tell when your shop gets done.
Yeah, that'll be about 6 months.
Yeah, I love seeing people's shops, even if they're a mess, because I pick up ideas. I never thought about doing it that way,
Yeah, I know. Same here. It's like you see something different, you go, well, that can help. So
it's like, why didn't I think of that? That would make so much more sense to organize it like that, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think it was Dennis Adamison. Hey, Dennis, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
I'm doing real good. Good to be here. Like Mark's comments there, I thought they were really appropriate for us and stuff like that. So.
Yes, yeah. The maneuvers are one of my favorite subjects to talk about, and trimming. I think our next thing we're going to talk about is go through Paul Walker's trim charts now, and there's like a bunch of articles, but maybe we can find some way to talk about some points. I think that'd be interesting as far as trim, because I love that subject too.
Well, hey, this is stunt school and you are the headmaster, so just lead on.
That's right. Let's just
try to contribute whatever we can. The rest of us will contribute whatever we can. So
yeah, and
we
Charles,
need to bring.
you can give timeouts too.
Yeah.
He gives penalties also.
yeah.
I have my plane here. And but you guys have been well behaved, so it's getting pretty messy. But I still have it. And I have my
Do we have to start bringing apples to class for the teacher?
Yeah.
That's okay. I was trying to think of something else you could bring, but that's all right. And I got the penalty flag too, since it's football season.
Yeah.
So have you been doing any flying or building, Dennis?
No, not much. We had a totally off topic thing happen. Had something weird happen. We have a pond in our backyard, and got some geese and ducks. Even have a blue heron shows up every now and then. What was the craziest thing? There was a penguin back there.
Oh,
Little rock penguins and stuff like that. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know how he
You've
got
been drinking,
there.
Dennis.
I have.
You live in Indiana.
Neither here nor there. So anyhow, he's there and he's in the yard, and I thought, my God, this little guy can't survive by himself or whatever like that. So my neighbor suggests, hey, why don't you take him to the zoo? So today, my wife and I went to the zoo. We had such a good time that tomorrow we're taking him to the hockey game.
It wasn't Danny DeVito, was it?
That's funny.
Oh well, I'm sorry.
no, you're not.
I've been saving that up for 6 months, waiting for a time where I could do that. And yes, I had some cough syrup earlier tonight, Mark. So yes.
Oh, good, good. So let me see about Ed Waski. What you been up to, Ed? And thanks for coming in. Oh, your mic is muted. There you go. I heard something.
You're
Isn't
not
that
coming
something?
through, Ed.
Yeah, it's not coming through. Yeah, it doesn't show that you're muted, but there's no sound coming. Why don't you figure that out, and I'll go ahead and get to I think it was Mark Gerber. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Thanks for coming
Good,
in.
Charles.
What you been up to?
Well, looking at the pieces of my Bearcat, and I've got the P40 out. I'm going to take that to Las Vegas next week and fly that.
Okay, cool.
So I've had to see if I can find a picture.
Okay, I'm out of touch. What do you mean pieces of your Bearcat?
Yeah, unfortunately, he had an incident. Yes, it's painful to look at the pictures, Bob.
I
It
am
hurts.
so sorry, Mark.
It
Jesus.
hurts. It really hurts to look at that plane in that state. I've never even seen it in person, but it hurts seeing that picture, that image.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I can't find the button that says share.
Well, mine
Oh,
is.
here it is. I got it. Never mind.
We don't see. Oh, here we go. Now it's coming up.
There you go.
All right.
For the benefit of people who don't know what happened.
And for the benefit of people who feel, well, it happened to me. It's like, oh my God, I crashed my plane. Well, it happens to a lot of us. It happens.
Hopefully we can learn from it.
That's what I try to do. I tried not to repeat that, whatever created the, look at that.
No,
Oh my God.
no. Oh.
Oh.
Well, that's what happened on Monday morning. I ran out of gas in the middle of the cloverleaf.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Couldn't backpedal fast enough. You know, the classic result for that.
Oh God.
oh, sorry to see that.
That hurts.
Sorry to hear that, Mark. That really sucks.
Yeah, it really.
You
does.
think it's repairable, Mark?
Well, that's what I've been looking at. I think it could be repaired. I don't know
I
if I
think they
repair
all
it,
can be
how
repaired.
much it's going to weigh.
Well, even if it weighs a lot, I mean, it can be a second line airplane or something or classic and use it for that.
Well, right now I'm thinking about just going ahead and building another one.
Oh,
I have a lot of knowledge that I've now acquired by building the first one. And I've got all the fixtures and jigs and patterns and templates and everything.
If you do another one, or do
You're-
you think any of the parts off the original are usable to incorporate into it?
Well, the motor's okay. It wasn't running.
yeah.
And it hit on grass right on this field here. You'll see in the picture. And the fuel tank's okay. Landing gear's okay.
Your
Some
tail
other
section
small-
and whatnot, is that reusable?
Lots of other parts. What's that?
Is your empennage reusable or?
Well, it could be. I'm just not sure how I would splice it all together. I thought about building a new center section for the fuselage and then, mating it up to the nose and the tail.
Was yours built on the molded balsa fuse or was it the plank buildup?
No, it was molded,
Mhm.
so it's all shells. As I said, I have all the molds, so making another set of shells would be straightforward. It won't happen in a matter of weeks or even maybe months. It might take another year or more, but a similar thing happened to me back in 2007. I had built my first Hurricane, and it looked pretty cool, but there was some aspects of the way it flew I did not like. It seemed like it was always fighting itself. And I had a 1-to-1 ratio between the flaps in the elevators. And this vertical center of gravity was a little bit off. And after I had that about 6 months, I had a mental error in the wing over and went straight in. And I had a bunch of pieces. So I said, this is a nice airplane. I got to build another one. So I built another one. It took me about a year. But the second one flew so much better. I adjusted the height of the wing a little bit to get the vertical CG in the right place. And I changed the control ratio to be like 2/3 flaps to 1 elevator. And that made it turn a whole lot better. So it turned out to be a really nice flying airplane.
I think that's a good policy. If something
Oh.
happens to your airplane, build a better one. Because you've learned a lot from that airplane. Think of the things you've learned from it. I know you haven't had it that long, but even still, you've learned a lot and you can incorporate a lot of new things into the next one.
Yeah. Good
Yeah, so
advice.
that's my thought about it, is maybe just go ahead and build a new one.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we can
hard
learn so
to-
much from it, and please let us know every detail that you find. When Monty's beautiful
Thanks.
El Raby Mustang went in a few years ago at Prairie Fire, I was tabulating and I had my head down and I heard a bang and I looked up and his trailing edge is separated and let a flap loose, and it just went straight in and destroyed that
Ooh.
beautiful airplane. And that's where we looked at it afterwards and thought, okay, when I do my Sea Fury, I'm going to add on something that Al didn't in the design. And on the trailing edge, how he has the two pieces spliced together, I'm going to put some 1/32 shear webs in on the trailing edge, so that it can't separate like that. And, try to always learn from others' tragedies.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm gonna think about it some more before I do anything one way or the other. Right now, I'm looking forward to going to Vegas next week, and the weather here has turned really crappy. We're supposed to have snow this weekend,
Oh,
No.
Wow.
so I had to.
We have snow.
Yeah, you probably have. And I had the P40. This picture was Wednesday morning, and it was a really good day. And then Thursday, it rained all day, and today it's been really cold. It was 22 this morning.
wow.
So I didn't get out today. We're supposed to get 6 inches of snow this weekend. So I don't know if I'll get any flying on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm going
Just
to leave
keep that
Wednesday
there.
morning for Vegas. So
How many flights do you have on this P40?
I don't know. A lot.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Which P40 is that, Mark?
It's a Charles Parrott.
Okay, so that's a plans built.
Yeah, I built it off of Parrott's plans. I redid the plans in CAD so I could get everything laser cut. But
Mm-hmm.
it's
Beautiful.
Charles' design. And it's 9 years old. So
So what's the wingspan and what's the power?
I think the wingspan is like 52 inches. It's really close to a Nobler. And it's got an Air Tiger 36 in it.
Wow.
Can't really see in the picture. Is that Fuser wing mounted landing gear?
No, it's wing mounted,
Okay, yeah.
just like Charles Parrott had it. And I put on some banner wheels because they're really heavy. And the CG is too high because the wing is lower than it would be on a Nobler, because he wanted to get it more scale like.
Also, there's no dihedral in it.
No. And I think if you built one of these with dihedral, it would be a killer.
Is
But it
the,
does suffer some from having the vertical CG being off.
is the landing gear removable?
No.
Too bad.
Why is that?
I was thinking you could bend a new set maybe a ½ inch longer and get your wheels down a little farther.
Yeah, I
You
hadn't thought about
probably
that. I
splice
did
that
bend them.
in, but that would be a pain, so.
I did bend them back because initially the CG was too far, the landing gear was too far forward,
Mm-hmm,
and it would bounce landings really well.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
So,
Could you put some bigger, heavier wheels on it, like those old perfect ones or something?
No, these are banners. You can't find any heavier ones than I've got on
Okay.
it.
Nope. Banners are about as heavy as you're gonna find, so.
Anyway, that's what I've been up to this week, so
Pretty plain.
thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. I know caffeine came in, but caffeine, I think caffeine is flying right now. Or his flying buddy is flying. Let me see here. But he was next or pretty close to next. Caffeine, are you around, caffeine? I have to come back to caffeine. All right. So, I like to kind of jump and take care of the younger ones. I see Tyler, John Skukulek's grandson is here. Hey, Tyler, and hey, John, how you doing?
Good.
Doing great. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. See you too. So,
Ty's,
Tyler,
Ty's having a sleepover at Grandma's house tonight, so we get to do the hangout a little bit.
very
All right.
good. So, you guys are planning on flying? Or you guys been doing any flying lately?
No, Tyler had football and then basketball started, and I snuck in a flight or two last week, but now we're into weather in the high 30s and low 40s. So we're thinking more about building season now.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So, what's on the board? What do you guys plan on building?
What are you thinking, Ty?
I'm building a little toot right now, so
Oh, very cool.
I want
That's-
to finish that this
I'm
winter.
not familiar with that. What engines does that take?
Oh,
Ask him.
it's a half A biplane.
Oh, okay. Oh, biplane. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Tyler likes biplanes, and so we're going to start with a half A.
Which engine you putting on it, Tyler?
I haven't done airplane stuff in so long, I can't remember.
We have some 049s, some Cox 049s.
You
And
doing a
so-
baby bee or a golden bee or a black widow or what family?
We have a golden bee and we have a couple, I think they're called Venoms.
Hmm,
Okay, yeah.
Is that a Cox? I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Couple of
Cox
them are-
motor. That's one of the later hot rodded ones.
Okay, so
That's-
yeah, that was,
I think
ultimate
it's kind of
development, wasn't it?
equivalent to the Black Widow.
okay, all right. Yeah, actually, we wondered about that. I was kind of wanting to assume that it was on the more powerful side of the Cox motors as compared to a baby bee or a golden bee.
oh, definitely.
What I'd suggest, John, is start them out on the Baby Bee, which has less power and
Yeah.
a smaller tank, and make your motor mount back further than the plans, so you can fit on and balance your Venom.
Okay,
But initially, put a spacer on to run the Baby Bee
okay,
and give them a shorter run and a gentler engine to get used to it, and then switch to the Venom for playing with it.
yeah, we don't have a baby bee, but maybe we could do the same thing that you're suggesting with a golden bee.
Yeah, well, a Golden Bee and a Venom, they have the same tank. They're the larger tank.
Same tank, but different power, right?
Yeah. Well, that'd help out the power too, and just put a little bit less fuel in it. Measure it.
Okay, good idea. We
Because
may do
otherwise, you
that.
might get pretty dizzy. Because that's even with the Golden Bee, they're a pretty fast little plane, even on a biplane.
We've been using the fishing line for the half A airplanes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it was 10 or 15 pound that we've been using, and have found that we can fly some of these half A's, not all of them, but some of them on 45-foot lines.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that'd help a lot. That'd get it down to about 3.5, 4 seconds a lap.
Yeah, it slows it down a little bit, and it's more fun as long as it stays out on the lines.
Yeah.
Oh, like, so.
So that's what
It's
he's
like a
building,
fun
and
way to
I'm
go.
trying.
Those
Go
are a
ahead.
cute airplane. Those are a cute airplane. It's a really fun way to go.
We were just talking about how cool it's going to be to see a little half A biplane flying.
Yeah.
It's going to be neat.
It'd be a
And I-
fun paint scheme. Look up the
Yeah.
original Little Toot, which is a experimental biplane,
Okay.
and they had a really sharp looking paint scheme on it.
Yeah, all right, cool. We'll have to look that up. We can maybe emulate it.
We have one
Ty's
of the
ar-
full
Ty's
size ones
artistic,
flying
so-
locally.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Very,
I'm a-
very cool.
And for me, I'm either going to build a SIG Super Chipmunk, which is a kit that was given to me when I flew in beginner back in 1990. And I said I'd build it and fly it after I retired. And so now it's time. Or a Vector. I bought a Vector kit from Randy Smith. And so one of those two.
What engines?
I've got what I have to work with. I've got a few Brodak 40s and I have two 46 LAs. And that actually is a question with each of those airplanes. Is there one that's more appropriate or advisable than the other? in
My
terms of-
Brodak or my Vector 40 profile flies great with my LA 46.
Okay,
And way back when, my fuzzy memory, my original CL3 Chipmunk built poorly flew okay with my Fox 40 Stunt, the old round case one. So I'm rebuilding that with that engine again. I just haven't worked on it. But the Brodak 40, I have two of them and they run just fine too. That might be
Yeah,
real
they're-
nice on the Chipmunk because it's a little bit lighter.
okay.
And
It's-
the Chipmunk with all that plastic on the nose and everything can be a little bit heavier on the Super Chipmunk.
Okay. So you're saying maybe a Brodak 40 for the Chipmunk
And the LA for the Vector.
for the Vector. Okay. All right.
Very cool.
I don't know. What do you got? What do you other guys think that know a lot more than me?
I
I
vote.
know. My Vector had an LA 46 in it. And I don't have a Chipmunk built. I have a Chipmunk kit, but I don't have one built. So
Yeah, my
So how
Vector
was
had a
how was your Vector
3515
with that
with four
46?
cells, So
it was nice, but I don't have anything to compare it with, I mean, it
Yeah.
had plenty of power, of course. But I don't know if I would have been better off with a Brodak 40 or not. I don't know.
Both
Denny,
my
I
Brodak
didn't-
40s and my 46s, or my LA 40s for that matter, I've have zero complaints about engine runs with those. They work great.
They seem to be really friendly for me, and I don't have that much experience, but I can get those things usually to run well in terms of a stunt run, without having to get tricky.
You talking about the Brodak 40 or the LA 46, John?
Both. My experience has been that way with both of them. The 46 certainly has more power than the 40.
Right.
You,
But
you know,
they're-
John, maybe what to do with it, since they both seem to run pretty good. Well, very good. Build the airplanes, because I think the mounting width is the same, the crankcase width.
Oh,
And it's pretty close anyway. And before you drill and tap, or I use the threaded inserts from my motor mounts, but so not having to deal with the blind nuts behind. But before you drill and tap them for it, just see which engine balances your airplane better.
I hadn't thought of that. Obviously, I'm thinking I have to start with building an engine crutch around a motor. I know that now. I didn't know that for any other airplane I've previously built. I just looked at the plans and did that spacing, but I could build the engine crutch to fit the wider of the two engines, and then do what
Yeah.
you said at the end, Bob.
Yeah, if you want, I could measure them. I've got several of each here, but to see for width, but
I've got them, and I can do that. That's a great thought. I don't have to necessarily say, well, I'm going to commit this airplane to the Brodak 40, and therefore, the LA 46 won't fit in it. Sounds like it'd be easy enough to build both around the LA 46 initially in terms of fuselage width, but then knowing that I'd have the option to use either one.
now for accurately drilling your holes after the plane nose is built, it's not a big deal. You can either leave the top block off so you got something square to set into your drill press, or you can use your drill press to make a drill guide. and run your bit through that set onto the motor mounts.
Yeah, okay. Good idea.
Well, you guys, the gallery's getting kind of crowded, so I just want to remind everybody, if you ever have a question, just raise your hand digitally. That way I can see it, and I can answer your question or get to you. I think, Ed, you got your mic working, Ed?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ed. All right, great.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why you haven't seen me, because I was having issues and everything would work fine until I would try to launch the meeting to go in. Then it was like, all right, I've tried everything. I don't know what to do. So my son was doing it with AnyDesk. So I had my son log in while I was trying to do it, and he got everything squared away for me.
Very good.
Yeah, but yeah, Ben Delinquent, as far as I've been, of course, watching it and giving you a thumbs up. But just with everything going on the personal side, and also just taking a break for some things, you know, it just takes up time. But also, I think Stuart was talking about doing his shop. I'll just give you a brief of what I've been doing, I think.
Make you big here. 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you got really organized.
Wow, all neat and tidy, unlike me.
Yeah.
Well, that's better than when I visited you.
Oh yeah, it's a lot better. Just don't look at my basement now.
All right.
But yeah, I just got tired of stumbling over things, so it was time to do it and make it easy and organized and stuff. So been listening, been enjoying everything, and just been basically doing cleanup and taking care of personal issues. But the shop that I have here was my 3-car garage, because I was doing a Corvette and a GTO in here before for rebuild. And so now my back man cave was empty. So now it's all airplanes.
Very good. Good for you.
Yeah.
I think Lynn came in after you, and Lynn just he just left momentarily. And he so let me Bob Whitley, go ahead. What you been up to, Bob? You been flying?
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I've been flying real airplanes when time allows, and in between a lot of personal stuff and crap weather here. I'm going to be down for about a week because I'm due for a check ride, and I couldn't get the examiner from Transport Canada until the 6th, and I expire on the 1st for my instructor rating. So I think I'll focus on that darn car I was working on and build some models. I want to spend some time on fun stuff in my workshop.
All right.
And I've been doing very little of that. I got some questions for Mark Wise.
Yes, sir.
What date is your birthday, sir?
Excuse me?
What date is your birthday coming up?
Oh, how'd you know that? November 6th.
Okay. Yeah, you're
78.
11 days before me then.
Yeah, big 78. So.
Yeah, and just so you don't send Guido with his baseball bat to break my legs, I got my expiry notice on Pampa. I'd missed it, so I'll renew it next week.
Okay.
And your comments when I was just tuning in about the volunteer work and everything and how it can become, I gathered you were talking about how it can become kind of consuming.
It can.
I can sympathize because I've been doing that my whole life. And my advice to everyone is don't let it get to the point where you don't like it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just back off if you're starting to feel like it's a burden.
Yeah, I felt that way about 4th grade.
That's funny. Very good.
And, you know, you're talking about visiting Ed and his shop and stuff. Well, how about you think about coming up and visiting your northern ambassadors? You got 3 of them up here.
That's right.
You're welcome anytime.
Well, that's
Red
an
carpet
awesome.
treatment for you,
Oh.
in spite of your attitude.
Very cool. Let me bring in Carl Reed to the conversation. Hey, Carl, how you doing? I know we spend most of the afternoon and morning together flying. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
Cool. And then I think Sparky came in after that. Hey, Sparky, how you doing, Sparky?
Pretty good, just building.
Very, very good. Did you see the carnage of Mark Gerber's Bearcat? Did you happen to see that?
No, I did not.
It hurts to look at it.
Let's see it.
Go ahead, Mark.
I gotta find it again.
That's a shame.
When you find it, just go ahead and cut it in. And then let me welcome Mike Lonke. Hey, Mike, how you doing, Mike?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going
Good,
well.
Mike.
Doing well.
I'm trying to stay off camera here because
Okay, no problem.
I'm cleaning some pew-pews. I had a day out at the range today. I don't want to get you in trouble on YouTube.
No,
so.
no problem.
But I did do some flying this week.
Yes.
Wednesday, I got 16 flights on Wednesday, and then I was able to get 4 today. So I think that's probably going to be it before Las Vegas, because I got to do wife stuff this weekend. It's fall. I got to take her to fall festivals and pumpkin stuff and all that. So possibly Monday or Tuesday, maybe. If the weather's good, I might be able to get out and get a couple of flights. But
It ran out of gas.
go ahead,
4-leaf clover, Sparky. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah.
What prop is that?
It's the prop you gave him.
No, it isn't.
It isn't? Oh, I thought
No.
it was.
It was a 13.6 is what road I use here in Colorado.
Oh,
Sparky
you
gave
lucked
me a
out.
14.5. I cut it down to a 13.5. And that works really good at low altitude.
That's a shame. You gonna repair it?
Well, we were talking about earlier, I'm kind of leaning toward just building a whole new one. But
Well, I had them molds and skins and stuff, but I sold them.
no, I got all the molds. I got the CAD model. I got a lot of parts that are laying there on the grass I can reuse. So I'll see. I'm a little, my concern about rebuilding it is weight,
Yeah. What did it weigh before?
64 ounces,
Yeah.
63 actually. So it might fly all right at sea level if it comes out at, 66 or 67. I don't know. It might fly okay here in Colorado. I don't know, but to get everything lined up straight and get it glued back together properly looks like a challenge.
That's a shame. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. Oh,
Still got my
Mark,
Grumman hat.
Mark, did the motor quit on you? Is that what caused you to crash?
Yeah. I ran out of gas.
Oh,
Yeah. And let me bring in Keith Trossel. Hey, Keith, how are you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Good. You been doing any flying? We had Las Vegas come. You coming to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, I was at a couple flights today. It's getting cold here, and let's see, several times this week. Been out with Jerry Higgins and getting the old time, the Madman, at least getting that thing to run, and got it through a whole pattern the other day. First time I've done a vertical 8 for a year, I think. So.
Oh, good. That's really encouraging. That's good.
A recognizable vertical 8 even, yeah.
Very good. Yes, Stuart, you got your finger up, and you got to unmute yourself, Stuart.
Yeah, I just got a question. My twister I'm going to put a 48 6 a 40 towers motor on it. But what weights are you? It's a fancherized twister, so I was just curious what weights end weight would be like when you're done, where it should be. Anybody got a fancherized twister that they know the weight that building weight when it was finished? Guess not.
I don't think I weighed mine. I had a Fancherized Twister, but I don't remember how much it weighed. And I had a FP40 in mind. Then I took that out and put LA 46 in it, and I like that better with the LA 46.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay.
So I got a message here that John Skukulek, his birthday is just like Mark Wise, November 6th.
All right.
You guys are birthday buddies.
Good deal.
And hey, Gordon, so what you been up to, Gordon? You feeling any better? You been doing any more work in your shop?
Paige Peterson come over and spent the day with me standing on my airplane. And I'm gonna have to unmask a little bit, remask, and be ready for paint. So we got progress on it.
That's good. That's very good. Are you thinking about coming out to Las Vegas? I'm sure your friend Roger Kramer's coming out there to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, I think Jim Rhodes and Roger's both going. But
I hope you feel up to coming. That'd be great to see you in person, Gordon.
yeah, I'd like to see a lot of people. Like to bring some planes down, show them to Mike. He's there working on. You say you're working on rifles or guns, Mike?
I didn't say the G word. I said pew pews. YouTube don't like the G word, so I'm trying to keep Charles out of trouble.
Oh,
Just cleaning some stuff up from today. That's all.
I'm into them also.
Yeah. We can talk about that stuff in the after party though.
Yeah.
But you got some stuff you want to bring to Vegas to show me? You got some combat stuff that's cool or what?
Oh, way cool. I got stuff that you'd really, really like.
Well, now you gotta come, Gordo. You can't tempt me like that and then not show up.
Well, if I brought them, you'd have to fly a couple of them.
I'm down. I'll fly them. Let's go. Anytime. Let's do it.
That'd be wonderful.
That'd be wonderful to come out.
I'd be happy and honored to fly some of your combat planes, man.
Well,
for sure.
I think you got several that you'd really, really like. You know, they're balsa, they're not foam.
Yeah.
That's from the good old days.
Well, that'd be great because I don't get a chance to fly much vintage stuff at all. I only kept just a few, a Combat Cat, a Nemesis, and a Voodoo. That's about all I got here in the shop, you know, with period engines, 36Xs, and I think I got a Super Tiger G21 on one, and I got a Mark IV on the Nemesis that I built that Howard signed for me. So if you have some other designs, that'd be cool. I don't get to fly other stuff, you know, because I don't build that
Right.
stuff.
You know, some of these I built back in the 80s. And some of them I built in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay. Did you know? I don't know if you saw any of the coverage, if it was put on Stunthangar in the combat section or not, but we had vintage days at the Nats this year because, you know, it was all, in addition to being 100 years of AMA, 50 years of Pampa, it was also 50 years of MACA, of Miniature Aircraft Combat Association. So the Mears and Jeff Johnson and Fishers and the Miners, everybody brought out a bunch of old period stuff for nostalgic combat, and we were flying it like in the evenings, you know. So there was a lot of really cool stuff guys brought out and flew in the evenings. Old engines and old airplanes and all the old problems associated with old engines and old airplanes. But it was still fun. It was a good time.
That's cool.
Yeah, Sam got his hands on a few. He flew a couple of Jeff Johnson and Bob Mears older stuff. He didn't want to do it. And I said, man, you got to go fly this stuff so you can see what it used to be like what these guys used to have to do to fly combat. So he flew Bob Mears' Sweet Sweep with a Johnson 35 on it, you know.
Yeah.
And Sam really got a kick out of that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I started Sweet Sweep with the Fox Blackhead. because that's what I built one back in the round, what, 57 or 8 with Fox. No, it must have been 59 because the blackheads didn't come out until 59. So,
Well, if you got something that runs and you make it to Vegas, I'd be honored to put a demo on it for sure.
yeah, I've got some run probably 120, 125.
Oh, I like that.
Pardon?
I said, oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's right up my alley. 120, 125.
yeah. If the
Okay.
roads weren't so expensive, I'd come down, but they're so darn expensive. So,
Maybe I know I'd take a penalty on the launch, but if one of them has a profile fuselage on it, maybe I could fly it in profile on Friday.
well, I got a profile Pathfinder.
Yeah, but it doesn't do 125, I'll bet.
No.
Right. It doesn't do 120. So
55.
Hey, Mike, I remember my brother flying a Voodoo one day in combat or in stunt. When wind was blowing up a real hoolie, and he actually had the airplane with the outboard wingtip sitting on the ground, and they launched it that way. All right. He did the whole pattern. Of course, he didn't bother with the wind or anything like that. And he was only going probably 100 miles an hour or so. But you can get there from here, and I'll airplanes he's talking about and stuff. I'll bet you could do just fine in profile. So you might have to do 3 laps between the maneuvers instead of 2. But
yeah, to keep the judges happy, right?
well, that's it. You're doing closer to a 2.5 second lap instead of a 5 second lap. I mean, 2. You can even do 3, and it's going to be shortening time. But anyhow.
Yeah, I won my first contest with the Renegade and then went over and flew it in stunt. And the judge says, I gave you an extra 10 points. I said, you can't do that. He says, I'm the judge, I can do what I want. I said, why would you do that? He says, anybody can do a stunt pattern 100 miles an hour deserves 10 points.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excellent.
Mark Wise raised his hand. Mark, go ahead with your question or comment.
Yeah, it's related to everybody. I've had good luck dealing with National Balsa. I've done with other companies as well, but a friend of mine sent me something off their website, and it's just a sign of the times. And they are offering Aero Light Balsa, which is balsa, but it's 4 to 7 pounds. That's pretty hard to find. And I'll give you an idea. 10 sheets, 16th by 4 by 36 were $170.
Oh, wow.
That's $17. Yeah, $17 a sheet. It's on sale for $119.99, which is about $12 a sheet plus shipping, I'm guessing. They have heavier balsa. They have, the run-of-the-mill stuff as well. Their next level is about $80 for the 10 sheets of 4 by 36 by 16th. So I guess the good news is you can find it.
All I can say is good luck.
Yeah. You may have to take out a second mortgage, but I just want to let you guys know they have a pretty good inventory. They're good to deal with. I have no idea whether their prices are competitive or not.
They're not.
I'm glad I scored all that balsa from Mac Henry and Marshall Busby. I bought out both their balsa stashes, and it's a lot of Bud Nosen balsa, and it's all 3 to 4 pound stuff. I got stacks of it.
Not all of us do. So
That's
I just want to let the group know.
Appreciate that, Mark. Thank you very much. So go ahead, Keith.
Hey, Mike, I hear you're pretty good or becoming a champion perky pilot.
Oh, that was last year. Yeah.
I'm just getting caught up then, I guess.
Yeah, that was 2022. And all I did was fly it. That was Bob Whitney's airplane. He built it. He built the motor, or tuned the motor, I should say. He was running a Zout 15, and he asked me if I would pilot it at Huntersville last year at their last contest, their 40th anniversary contest last October in the Perky Postal. And we did 3 attempts, I think, and on the third flight, I think I hit 122.68 to win the Perky Postal, and I think that was the fastest Perky flight ever.
For the year, yeah.
So all I did was fly it and spin in circles. That's all I did. I mean, all the credit goes to Bob for building the airplane and the motor and making it run the way it did.
So
So
next year's not the next year, but sometime I'm gonna have a Perky put together and have you fly it for me then.
oh man, really?
Yeah, but it won't be that fast because I don't have that kind of.
Because I'll tell you,
I've got a
it wasn't
couple
it wasn't fun.
Yeah, I got a couple.
It wasn't fun. Spinning in circles that fast is really not fun, man. And it's 16 laps. I think you got to do 16 or something. You get dizzy, man. You get really dizzy.
Yeah, and you fly
what's
left-handed too, right?
say again?
You fly left-handed, right?
That's correct. That's why Bob wanted me to fly, because I could get my hand
And you didn't whip at all.
back here.
No, there's no whipping.
No, I mean, but I guess the deal is if your hand is back here instead of being right-handed, if you're right-handed, you can only get your hand this far. If you're left-handed, you can get your, that's a foot.
Yeah.
That's a foot. So that's why Bob wanted me to fly.
Yeah.
But I have zero experience in speed and racing, really. And I just did what Bob asked me to do and tried to minimize the walking around. You try to stay in one spot and do it, because you don't fly in a pylon with that Perky Postal. You're really just shuffling your feet. And man, it's a lot. I was dizzy and I was winded after it. It's work for that 2 minutes or whatever it is. So, but I would fly your plane, Keith, no problem.
You got a couple Rossies that might go pretty good, but not that fast.
Okay. Yeah, 115 I can handle. That 122, man, that was moving, man. That was like, of course, 125 on a combat plane, that's not a big deal because you can plant your feet and do big H. You're not doing this.
Well,
You're not doing that.
A little bit longer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's right. 52s on the Perky and 60s. Even a Nelson 36 combat plane, I don't fly in circles with it because it's a lot to keep up with. It's easier just to, do big sweeping stuff. Are you bringing us to the Nats this year, Keith?
No, I'm not going to Nats this year.
Oh, okay. All right.
I would.
Well,
they got the scale contest all screwed up.
I got you.
For July, and then the AMA announces August, and finally today they've got their notes corrected or compared or whatever. Anyway, scale is going to be, both control and radio control scale is going to be in July, a month before the World Championships.
Okay.
I think is a big mistake, but that's personal problem.
Well, if you bring it, I will fly it for you, Keith, if we can work that out. Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll have a year and a half to get that done.
Okay. All right.
Mike, sometimes your audio clips. I don't know what's causing that. I don't know if you're too close to the mic or not close enough. I don't know what it is, but your audio clips once in a while.
Okay. I'll take a look. But probably too many people on the internet in my house. So I'll just shut up for a while. You guys go ahead.
All righty. Let me see here. I want to get back to Lynn, but Lynn is not back yet. Go ahead, Stuart.
Just one quick question. When you go to like the Nats or wherever you go on a contest and they check your line tension, like they test it, what's the pounds, how many pounds on a line test?
I think it's
For
10 Gs, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much?
10
10.
G's.
10 times the weight of the model.
Oh, is that how they do it? Okay.
Yeah, so a 2-pound airplane will pull 20 pounds.
All right, great.
All right. So Philip, I muted you because I could hear some background noise. I don't know if it was Vicky or TV, but I had to mute you.
My daughter.
Your daughter. Okay. So anyways,
How is everybody? Go ahead.
doing well.
Yeah, doing great. Crazy as ever. Getting ready. Supposed to go flying for a few minutes in the morning and then come home and grab everybody and take off to the barbecue festival, which is our local big shindig. We got the best barbecue in the state, and some people argue with that, but I've been all over the state, and trust me, we got the best barbecue. And gonna try to fly a little bit in the morning though. I haven't had my Skyray out in quite a while, so I'm gonna take it out and fly it. Everybody's saying bring the Ringmaster, but we'll bring the Skyray. Flies amazingly similar, but I don't know. Just see if we can't have a little fun. It's been so long since I've flown. I'd be scared to fly a good one anyway. But we're gonna see what happens. How you doing, Charles? You doing any flying lately?
And yeah, I flew today. Only put up 4 flights because there was 5 of us, so there's a rotation. So I only got four flights in. But then yesterday I flew, I think 5, and then Tuesday I flew like 6. So I've been flying a little bit, not as much as Mike Lonke. Lonke did like 16 flights a couple of days ago, I think, and that's Herculean effort.
I can't concentrate that long anymore.
Yeah,
about 6 flights and I'm toasted.
Yeah, that's what we had a conversation about that earlier, a couple of broadcasts ago. Jim Hoppin said that I think 3 or 4 flights for him because he concentrates so hard. Spent after just doing that.
Yeah, I got 8 batteries. I bought 8 batteries so I could go out there and fly 8 times because I saw the dailies go out with, I don't know how many batteries they have, but their battery charger must charge about 12 at a time. And I went out with 8 batteries and had to come home and discharge 3 of them, I think, because I just couldn't do it. After about 6 flights, I just, which way did he go, George? So I said, that's enough of that. So, but anyway, we're having a good time. Trying to get the SV rebuilt, and I got the parts. I got everything separated, got everything drawn, and got everything started back. I just hadn't got in there, but I made the mistake of putting the pieces together and was getting ready to glue them, and I said something don't feel right. So I laid the glue bottle down, just laid the whole thing down, and went upstairs to get a glass of tea. Think about this thing a minute. I got upstairs and I thought, hey, dum-dum, if you put it together, how are you going to get it back inside the airplane? So I glued this side in against the rear former, and I glued this side in against the rear former. I got a way I can take the clamps off of them, then I'll put the top and bottom piece in, and then the nose slides in on that. So it's coming. It's coming. It's not coming in any big hurry, but it's coming.
This is electric, right?
Yeah. I tore the nose of it back to the everything back to the battery box opening was just turned into toothpicks.
No,
it's a I call it my jigsaw puzzle because it was what a mess. It was really tore up. I picked up the handle. Well, I hooked up the wires backwards, which is weird because I always leave one wire hooked up on the handle and one wire hooked up on the plane. And somehow the one of them got reversed. I'm not sure how that could have happened, but it happened. So anyhow, well, so it's just always before you fly, it only takes a second. Check it one time, and I didn't do that. I've always done that. I've always preached that, and the one time I didn't do it, it bit me in the behindy side. So always check your handle. I don't care what kind of procedures you go through, always check that handle.
It's important to give it up and leave it there because sometimes your brain will play tricks on you.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's up is up, not that the elevator is moving. because
Yeah,
you think
that's
it's,
it.
think it's right, but it's not. Go ahead, Mike.
I just wondered if anybody got the latest issue of Model Aviation yet.
Not me. Let me make you big.
No, I didn't. No, I did not.
Okay.
Do you know the person on the cover? Do you know that person?
Well, no, but Mark's airplane is in here.
Oh, very cool. Mark,
Very neat.
move it. There we go.
Of course, Sam's the one holding it, but there it is.
Oh, that's right. That was nice. So that Sam had a plane to hold while I took the picture. Yeah, that was nice of you, Mark. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very cool.
So they had some Nats coverage in there.
Yeah, Mark he said he'll be right back. He gave us a like, but he'll be back. So he's not around at this moment.
Thanks,
What are you
Mike.
talking about?
Oh, there he is.
Mark's right there.
All right.
Yeah. I'm here.
When I make people big, I lose perspective of where everybody is at. There we go. Excellent. Anyways, I think I got everybody, and yeah, I didn't post it. This was a busy day today, but we talked about the maneuvers up until the overhead 8. So I'd like to talk about the overhead 8. And matter of fact, while let me gather myself here and read what the rule book says about the overhead 8. Just give me 1 second here. Here we go. Whoops, not that one. And by the way, as far as our show, we have 21 concurrent viewers, 21 likes. Thank you very much. But if you can do the super thanks or super chat or subscribe or join our YouTube channel, that'd be greatly appreciated because the super chats are down, the memberships are down. So if you haven't joined and you see the value in this program, please support it. Show some support. Either do this super thanks, super chat, or join. Do something. I don't have any super chats. I don't have any new members. And so please consider joining. And I learned a couple of shows ago that there's some people that are actually having a challenge in joining, so I know most of our audience is probably not a kid. And so if you have any challenges doing that, PM me on the Stunthangar or Sparky and get some help because we need your support. So please do that. Anyways, let me pull up the rule book here for the control line aerobatics 2022 to 23. And I'm going to read it to you here briefly. I think we all know how to do it, but it's not surprising that some people have not read it before. So just give me a moment here. I'm pulling it up right now. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Well, let me see how to do it this way. Okay. Overhead 8, vertical 8, hourglass. Man, we are making progress. Just a second here. I did something I didn't. How did I do this? Now, what's going on? How do I get this thing? Hang on a second. I actually changed the way this thing is viewing. I'll just make it big. Maybe that'll work. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let me see if I can slide this over. That's the vertical 8s, hourglass, and here we go. Overhead 8. All right, great. Let me move this over. And I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a second so y'all can see what I'm reading. Okay, share screen. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, great. So the overhead figure 8s, 2 are required. The overhead 8s are to be entered and completed at the intersection point of the circles, the 2 circles that button up against each other, directly over the flyer's head and exit from the same point. The inside loop must be flown first. Correct overhead 8s are judged when the model makes 2 8s, each consisting of 2 round circles of the same size with the intersection or point of tangency directly over the flyer's head. The model must enter the eights with a vertical climb through the center of the circle and must always point in a direction at the center of the eights. The eights must be symmetrical, and the model at the lowest point of each circle must be at a point of 45 degrees elevation. Maximum of 40 points and minimum of 10 points. Let me see what the errors are. The errors are the model is not vertically overhead at entry. Low points of the circle is not within 2 feet of 45 degrees elevation, and the loops are not round and equal in size. Point of intersection varies. Each eight is not as prescribed. So that's the rules. Let me stop sharing. So one thing which is kind of interesting about the overhead eights is some people think that you need to be at level height and do a hard corner and go up to the overhead. Obviously, you just need to have a vertical climb to get to the start of the maneuver. Anybody have any comments about the overhead eight?
Yeah, I do like a wing over, just because I think it kind of presents better. Plus, you've established your overhead line as you're going up.
True.
So I usually hit it pretty hard.
I do that too. I'm just saying it's not required, but you know, and even the ending, sometimes like people like to go all the way over and then do a hard pull out at 4 feet. And it actually ends at the point of intersection overhead at the pilot's head. So, but some of us will continue on and try to wow the judges, which who knows if it works or not. It might, but it's not supposed to be judged, that part.
Correct.
Hey, Mark, if you're just joining us, Mark Lumen, we're talking about the overhead eight. How you doing?
I'm good. Great. Am I muted?
No, you're not muted.
Okay, sorry. I was just making some noise here. But
Oh, you must have been muted before, but no, when you started speaking, that's the only time I heard you. I just saw you. Just wanted to know I saw you.
Yeah, great, man. Keep going. I'll
Mark,
chime in later.
All right, chime in later. That's fine. Anybody else have any comments about the overhead eight?
Well, same thing on the intersections that we talk about, on the intersections, the horizontal eights and the vertical eights, that people hold that intersection too long. They get up there and they're like saying, okay, judges, here I am at the intersection and I'm straight over my head and there it is. And then they start turning the other way when, again, you're turning one way and instantaneously turning the other way.
Right.
And some judges think it's hard to tell if they're doing the same thing up there on the intersections as far as going the same direction. And you can tell the orientation of the airplane when it's on top of the circle like that, even though the judge may not be directly upwind or the guy's a little bit off the wind direction. The judge can see in the intersection if he's seeing mostly the bottom of the airplane when he's at that intersection, and then the next time around he wants to see that same bottom of the airplane. And if it's the top of the airplane he sees going through that intersection first time, then the next time around or next times around he wants to see the same top of the airplane. If it's not there, that means he's Xing the or crossing the intersections up there.
I have a question for you, Keith. I know that you are our judge as well. And my question is, it says the overheads are entered and completed at the intersection point of the circles. Let me get to the question I want. My question is, it just says that the inside loop must be done first. So can you start from the other side of the circle and come up?
Well, normally it's done, and the wind arrows show that you start on the upwind side of the circle, but the wind arrows are there for a guidance. It's not required that you have to put the thing into the wind or against the wind or sideways to the wind. It's just that you ought to be lined up with the wind going one direction or the other. Otherwise, the judges can't see your intersections and they're not going to give you points for something they can't see. So, and if you're going crosswise up there or crosswise to the wind in front of the judges, they can't tell you what, they can't see what you're doing on the intersection. So, like I say, they're not going to give points for something they can't see. Yeah, you could start on the downwind side of the circle and climb up to the top if that's your choice. There's nothing that says you can't do that.
That was my question. Thank you very much. Does that make sense, everybody? Or well, I need to clarify that.
So it's not a requirement to start from the upwind side.
No, it's not. Some people may argue that because of the wind arrows there, but there's something there in the rule book that the wind arrows there for reference only. It's nothing in the rule that says you have to start the maneuver in accordance with where the wind arrow is.
But if you miss the wind, it makes it difficult.
Absolutely. And if you're crosswise to the wind,
It's really difficult.
if you're not going directly into the wind or against the wind or with the wind, like I say, if you're putting those intersections some other place or some other direction than lined up with the wind or lined up with where the judges are, they can't see how good your intersections are. And again, they're not going to give you points for something they cannot see.
How much of a deduction is it if the outsides of the eights are not at 45 degrees? Let's say they're a little bit higher or a little bit lower. What kind of deduction is that for as a judge?
A matter of degree, and it's a matter of experience that you have as a judge and what you do when you see that. There's no set thing that says it's 2 points or 4 points for however many feet or degrees you're off. There's nothing in the rules about that. It's just you have to come up with your own standards in your own mind as a judge. That's why the judges get paid so much.
Yes.
I don't know about the pay, but it seems to me, and what I've always tried to do, if you're going to judge it 2 points for this and 2 points for that, just make sure you do it even all across the field. As long as you're fair to everybody, use the same set of standards for everybody, it's fair. That's because
it's a matter of degree. If you're 2 feet off on where the edges of those eights are, or 4 feet or whatever, it's a matter of degree, and that's a matter of how many points or how few points you take off.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the errors you see all the time between you judges, Dennis and Phil and Keith? Who else judges? Mark Wise and Lynn Burrell. What are the, and Mark Gerber, pardon me, Mark. What are the common errors you see when you see people execute an overhead eight?
The biggest one I saw.
Front.
Yeah. They do the maneuvers out in front of them.
Yeah, way
Chris
out
was just saying, yeah. They don't get up to the top before they start their first inside loop.
Yeah. That's the most
I think
common
it's a
one.
very difficult maneuver to judge because you really can't see the geometry of the loops very well. You can see where the intersection is, you can see where the sides are. And those tend to become dominant points, I think, when you're scoring a maneuver, if those are done, badly. The other thing, down in front is a big one. It's getting bigger and bigger as our pilots age. All right. It's harder and harder to turn back. Another thing is, as Keith described, especially when people get caught by the wind and stuff like that, they get blown across the intersection before they're ready for it. And they go through, and it's clear to the judge that it's not, that it's an X through the intersection and it hasn't been aligned. I didn't see the tail of the airplane, before it changed directions. It's coming across. And it seems to be more common on the outside to inside transition than the inside to outside, because it's, just seems to be that way. Of course, sometimes you'll see one side is different than the other height wise. You see one loop is farther back and the other one might be down in front and stuff like that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but you really can't, the judge really can't see if the loops are round. Sometimes I can see if the loop has been flown. If it's, a round loop is a smooth maneuver, and if you can see that the airplane isn't flying smoothly through the path, then it really kind of telegraphs that it's probably not a smooth round loop. All right. If you can see the thing, especially in the wind, you can see a lot of flyers, they'll come down on the side and it's not like they're almost flying a level lap and then pulling it up through the intersection and then flying a level lap at 45 and pulling it up through the intersection. Probably not a bad survival tactic in the wind, but
Loops aren't
you're
round.
not going to earn a lot of points for it. That's all.
Yeah. Another thing that gets me a lot is people will fly over their shoulder rather than over their head with predominantly with one loop. The inside will be over their, if they're right-handed, they'll fly that over their right shoulder, and then their outside loop, they'll bring that sucker around and bring it right over top of their head. Well, it's a glaring, there's 10 feet up there between the loops. And you can see it. You missed your intersection.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do it.
I've seen, especially when I judged a top five in a couple of years ago at the Nats, the guys who really do the best maneuvers have the best footwork. They know how to position themselves. They know how to get themselves in a position where they can fly the maneuver. If you move, you've screwed up everything. Because your head is your only reference point. Straight above is what you need to do. One of the things I'd recommend, I've mentioned it here before, and I know a lot of us probably don't fly drones, but I do just for photography's sake, landscape photography. But I have, especially with Greg Gunder, gone out to the field and put my DJI up maybe 300 feet, dead above his head. And then we recorded a whole bunch of overhead eights. And that'll show you an awful lot.
Oh, it would, yeah.
It really will. If you have a friend with a decent drone, not a toy store drone, good one, you can get a lot out of it from that top view.
I think it's significant that the maneuver diagram is drawn as if you were looking at it from a drone.
Yes.
It's not drawn in a way that the judge sees it.
Exactly.
And it's not actually even drawn the way the pilot's supposed to see it. That's because it's, optically, it's a complete, fustercluck. There's just, looking at it from 6 feet, from a judge's height, 5 or 6 feet off the ground, looking at it. It's just, the optics on it are just horrible. So I don't know.
Something very easy to deduct is, and I know this isn't easy, when pilots make corrections, when they realize they're up here somewhere and they realize they need to turn the airplane. Okay. And it's just real easy for a judge to spot that. So try to make the changes low if you can, because we can't see them as well. It's a tough maneuver. There's no reference.
Yeah.
Stuart,
go ahead, Stuart, but you got to unmute your mic.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, do most people tend to make the overhead 8 loops small? Or I'm just curious because I'm so when they do it, they make them too small when they should actually make them bigger. Because I'm just curious if there's where people may tend to make them smaller or.
So in other words, the sides aren't at 45 degrees. They're much higher. Is that you're saying, Stuart?
Yeah, so it makes them smaller, right? When you do that.
Right.
I'm just curious.
I don't know about everybody, but the guys that I fly with, we all three, the 4 of us all fly old time as well. And we tend to make them a little large. So we have to fuss at each other. All right, this isn't old time. And get them down. But I remember watching Wendy Ertnowski fly at the Nats, and I thought his overheads are too small. And then I got over where I could really watch what he was doing and take some pictures with some clouds that happened to be there, and went out to the center of the circle with a protractor and started looking. And Wendy's looked much smaller than anybody else's, but if you really looked at them, they were closer to 45 than anybody else there that day. And I heard other people say Wendy's overheads are too small, but as it turns out, they were probably the best overheads there. So don't just say, well, that person does it too big or that person does it too small. Look, because
that's
it'll
what-
surprise you. It'll
Well,
surprise you.
from the judge's perspective, you have a good angle on that 45-degree when the plane comes around the outside of each loop.
I
Which
find
you
it
don't
hard-
have when you do a loop downwind.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
find
that's
it
true.
hard to fly
That's
the-
true.
I
the
think for the
styles.
most part, most pilots tend to make the loops too big because smaller the loop,
Most times
the better
do.
the performing the airplane has to be in order to keep line tension and be able to
Mhm.
keep the maneuver smooth and all that up there. So,
You got a little powerhouse, you can do it even in the wind. But if you're nominal on power and there's any wind, you're going to do a big loop or you're going to feel like you're falling out of the sky.
yeah.
Well, it's one other oddity with the overhead is that if you are a pilot who likes flying at 45 or even a little bit tight to 45, so you're flying a little, a little lower than 45. So a lot of times the judges will respond to that and they'll see that you're flying a tight pattern. And some judges respond better to that.
Mhm.
The irony of that is that if you're flying at, for numbers, say, call it 40 degrees and your regular horizontal 8, when you fly the overhead 8, you should be coming down to the same elevation, which means your overhead 8 just got a lot bigger.
Mhm.
All right. So that's always, one of that quandary too. But since from the judge's perspective, you really can't see the loop, it's hard to say, well, gee, that's a really big loop. You can say, well, gee, it came down farther on the side, which means it was a big loop, but it doesn't mean it was big top to bottom. It might have just been big side to side. So,
Mhm.
and there are.
And thought
a
of it
lot
like that. That's true.
It's there's just a lot of things you can get through. It's for me, the overhead 8 has always been one of those ones where I say, well, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can. And you know what? I don't think anybody can actually go out and beat it because they can't do it any better than I can. So, and it's like, let's just get on through it and we get on to something else where I can see what I'm doing and they can see what I'm doing. So I don't know. I guess if anything, I've been messing around with things, maybe I ought to consider, it's a maneuver I'd really like to see us eliminate because it's too damn hard to fly, too hard to judge. It basically can't be judged. So
Well,
it's like,
again, as a
is
judge,
that
you
what we
can-
really want?
You can see the intersections, and if they're Xing or holding the intersections too long, you can see how close they are to the 45 degrees on the bottom, and you can see some smoothness or lack of smoothness when they're doing the rounds. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
about all you can
That's
say.
it. So. But anyhow. But yeah, back to your basic questions, you hearing some of the errors and stuff like that. It's just one of the harder maneuvers to do, and the one where your body position means the most. And if you got stiff necks or vertigo or something like that, it's not.
You're in a heap of
it's
trouble.
not your friend. And,
No.
and I'm finding myself adopting new ways to fly it, things that I would have never, ever done because they were a bad idea. So.
Oh, Denny, say it ain't so. We wouldn't have problems with those.
Yeah.
Lord.
Now, when I
tell
do
you
it,
what.
I try to get half it behind me and half in front of me. I'm not always successful, but that's what I try to do. So what things do you guys try to do to pull off a good figure 8? I mean, overhead 8. How about you, Sparky? What do you do to try to pull off a good overhead 8?
Well, sometimes if I'm flying out in front of me, I turn my back to the judges, then they can't see it. It's out in front of you. It's farther away from them.
But you start facing the judges, right?
I start facing the judges, and when I get up here, I turn my back to the judges, so in case they're out in front of me, they're not out in front over their head. They're out in front, out that way.
Oh, that's a neat trick. Huh.
But don't take it from me. I ain't won the Nats.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of practice to win the Nats.
Well, like Phil was just saying, I find, I fly the old time overhead 8. I fly it like a lazy 8, which means I'm facing downwind and doing the loops, all right, from a downwind perspective. And somehow it seems easier than when I fly the regular, the regular contest 8 overhead, facing upwind. And I know that was a point that when we first started flying stunt, my dad used to go crazy over that, because we had a couple of people we flew with. They do just what Sparky described. They climb up, they'd rotate with it, and he go, "That's not an overhead. That you're doing a lazy 8 up there." Well, no, not really. We're still doing the inside loop in the same place and the outside loop in the same place, and the rule book doesn't care which way you're facing and stuff. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it just seems physically, it seems easier for me now, this level of physicality, to fly the old time overhead 8, which is physically bigger. All right, it's a 60-degree maneuver, not a 45-degree maneuver. It seems easier for me to fly that than it is to fly the the regular 8. So,
Well, just try it sometime. Come up this way when you get to here. Follow it around, turn your back to the judges. And if you're flying out, if you're flying out in front of you this way over the judges' heads, they can't see that it's out in front of you if you got your back to them.
And I think it's less apparent.
That's right.
If it's less apparent when you see somebody flying it in front of them, when you're facing the judge, it just seems really obvious from the judge's perspective to see that it's down in front. And I think it would be a little less obvious the other way, although I'll bet even then the sharp judge is going to pick up on that pretty easily. But you never know.
Well, your dad could sure pick up on it.
Well, he would have yelled, if you do that with him, he would have yelled at you about your body English and stuff like that, and your body position, because he was always big on that. So he'd have raised hell about that. So,
well, he kept fussing at me that I was pointed the wrong direction to do an overhead that way, because most of the older guys, like your dad, started the overhead. They actually started it. They come around and start it to their left, and it came up from behind them. Well, I started to my right and bring it up overhead and around that way. I said, but Art, all it is, if I turn my feet and I put my body the other direction, it's the same darn thing. No, it's supposed to be the horizontal 8 straight over your head. Well, it is the horizontal 8 over my head. I'm just turned the other direction. Well, we argued about that at VSC and just had a big time, but I tried to fly it the way he said fly it. Darn near lost a stunt wagon twice. And I said, I'm about to practice this at home, not at a contest, because this is hard.
That's a really you don't want to change something that fundamental at a contest. That's not a good idea, Phil. So.
Tommy Looper, Charlie Reeves, and I all tried it the other way, and we don't all darn near hit the ground. I said, woo, I'm waiting until we get home to try this different. It's hard. But it was I don't know, your dad was very adamant on some things, but if you just listen to him, he straightened out a lot of things. I was getting beat all to crap with several maneuvers, and he told me it matters where you stand in relation to where you do your maneuvers, because if you slide them to one side, the judges can't see what you're doing. So that was one of the biggest things he helped me with, is put it where they can see what you're doing, unless you really muff them. And then I guess what you're saying would help.
Well, that's it. You only want them to see him. Want to see him if they're good. So
yeah. But Art was always fun to be around, man. He was something else. Anyway.
So Mark Lumen, you said you're going to chime in later. Well, here's later.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm actually in the big city of Las Vegas.
Say it again.
I said I'm actually in Las Vegas.
Oh, great!
Oh my goodness!
So I think
you're a little early, aren't you, brother?
well, yeah, I'm working this week. So the schedule kind of worked out, and I'll be here next week. But I'm only have off on Sunday, you know. So at best, I can come out in the morning on like maybe Friday and Saturday, you know, and Sunday. But obviously, I didn't bring an airplane or don't have an airplane out here. So, and since Pampa is going to be on Saturday and Sunday, you know, I'll be a spectator, I guess. But at least I'll meet you guys. So yeah.
Yeah. So how is your overhead 8 progressing? I know that you are still working on the pattern, right? You can do the whole pattern.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of the things you guys said just makes perfect sense, you know. And one thing that comes to mind with me, especially as with all the maneuvers, is having an airplane that's in perfect trim.
Yeah.
That it turns the same rate inside as it does outside. Yeah. And I would think that overhead 8, you know, as well as the vertical, you know, can, you know, it can make it a lot harder if you're trying to adjust the size of the inside or the outside, you know, as well as trying to find 45 and trying to find the overhead. Yeah. And it's like you said, or everybody has said, yeah, I'm, you know, I'm not completely, the right words, yeah. I'm not as stiff as I feel like I am, but you know, getting it completely over my head has been the issue. Yeah, of getting it to come straight over top, and over top is a lot further back than one thinks. You know,
Than it used to be.
I mean, I had a video here recently, you know, and I thought it was, you know, I said, you know, I felt like I was on top, you know, and I got a good laugh out of it because when they showed me the video, you know, I probably wasn't even maybe 80 degrees, yeah, 75, 80 degrees, yeah, just felt like it was on top, yeah. But yeah, it's come along. I got lucky with, you know, the recovery went pretty good. I was able to fly a little bit, you know, and I enjoy the judges' conversations and you know when you guys talk about what they're judging and stuff like that. But I'll have to say the season best judge comment for me come from Sparky, yeah, in St. Louis, yeah. And I got a big kick out of it and help, you know. He goes, that was terrible, yeah. And, you know, it was, you know, but I mean, he gave it a helpful hints after that. But I think it's hard that a lot of us don't realize that aren't judges and stuff like that. When the judges are over there, you know, they're there to judge you, but they're also there to help you as well. You know, they're happy to give you the, you know, well, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, you know, and you know. Anyway, I like the series of going through the maneuvers. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's really helping with some of the mistakes and things like that. Yeah, but it's been a good season. Yeah, like I said, I hit St. Louis. We hit Omaha. Earlier in the year, we'd hit El Dorado. We couldn't quite make it down to Baton Rouge with work, but it was good. Good stuff.
Very good.
And yeah. I found the ground at Omaha. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What plane did you find the ground?
Sorry?
Which plane did you find the ground?
On the one I call my rat tank. That was the one that I had taken a vector wing and built like a simple fuselage. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was
You learned something though.
It's self-induced. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of the judges' comments when you know, after the turmoil, you know, he goes, you know, I hate to add insult to injury, but that was your best maneuver.
Yeah. Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Well, what he meant was it was on the clover. It was the last turn to clover, yeah, and I just come out too low, you know.
Oh, yeah.
At the last turn, and I started a little bit of a climb, and the brain said bail out, but the hand didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I think the engine ended up about 50 foot from where the impact was.
Ooh, that one smacked hard.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're going to do it right. Yeah.
There you go.
Then do it.
But,
Do it.
yeah, learned a lot. There was a lot of wind too, and that helped me a little bit as well. Yeah, especially with like the verticals. I know we were talking about the verticals here a couple of things ago, or a couple of meetings ago. Yeah, and don't let that wind when it's cooking. Take that vertical 8, even further over than you think. Because when you turn, on top, it gets blown down. And that's similar to what happened on my Clover. Yeah, I just got blew down a little bit, and didn't recognize it quite. Yeah. But anyway.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. And I do have a new build or two. Actually, I don't know if we're through with this. I can let me see if I can share a couple if there's time. Let me see.
Yeah, we can end the conversation on the overhead 8. I think we pretty much nailed it, I think.
I can just figure out how to get here. Oh, come on, Marky. Yeah, I think it's so easy when you put this stuff in and you go to find it. Why can't I find it?
Yeah, I understand that.
That's like showing somebody how to do that surgeon's loop. It's real easy till you got to try and show a whole bunch of people.
Right. Well, I can't find the exact one that I'm looking for, but let me just pull up a couple here. So
all right.
Wait a minute. Maybe I do find it. Okay, there it is. All right, now I'm going to attempt share screen.
Oops.
We don't see anything yet, Mark.
Your screen share.
Oh, there we go. Now it's sharing. Oh, that looks pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, P51, huh?
Which one is that? What is that? A scratch build? Oh, that's the Silverling, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the clear Silverling.
Which finish you putting on it with the yellow nose? What's it going to be?
Well, I got to admit, I've got my exhaust that I just put on before I left.
That's a good flying Mustang, by the way.
I don't have. I had some other good photos somewhere, but like I say,
that's pretty. I like that.
That was like a combat cat in the bottom of the picture.
Lord, yeah, one of Dave's, I'm sure. Yeah, one of his old, one of them. Yeah, cool. But it's been a good learning experience with this one, with the finish, and trying to keep it light. I'm sitting at 43 ounces now.
Wow.
With the engine, so and I still have a clear coat to get on, but we shall see.
Very nice.
Is that a kit or a scratch build? What is that, Mark?
Oh, no, that was from the original plans that was in the stunt paper back in 1960 something. Dave come up with those plans, good learning experience for sure. And
how's your chipmunk fly?
Good, except it got a little heavy. Let me go. I went ahead and put a fox in it because I just wanted to keep it, keep it well in the salvage theory. That one is because it wasn't the original chipmunk. It flies great, but it's just underpowered. So I'm gonna upgrade the engine.
I've seen two or three of them fly with 46s, and they fly very well. LA 46.
Yeah, I put a LA 46 on the Hellcat and made a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'd had a
Which Fox engine did you have, Mark?
before. I had an FP40 on the Hellcat. Yeah. And it was a good motor, but it's a different engine run, and it just it gave up a little bit, And again, that airplane was a little heavier than what one would have hoped it would have been. Yeah.
Oh no, you said was. Did something happen to the P-47? I mean, Hellcat.
No. When I say was, I mean I'm going to refinish it. I had some, I guess. Well, it happened in Tulsa. Is on Saturday. I was one of the three that went and flew. Yeah. And it was windy and the wing tweaked somewhere. And it wasn't landing, and the silk span split kind of right over the right. Yeah. Nothing had come apart inside. All the balsa was still together, and I don't know. But I'm going to recover that. And get that going. Yeah.
It's too pretty airplane not to.
Oh yeah. I like the way it flies. Of course, the first one that you really fly that you kind of connect with, so to speak. It just feels good in my hand and stays out there. Luckily, it stays out there with some of my shenanigans. Yeah. Talking about getting too small. I think Stuart, you're talking about getting too small. Is that has been, and just I'm getting over it, was my nemesis is not opening up the maneuvers, and you get a combination of a underpowered airplane, so to speak, due to weight, and then get things too small, things can get interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So whose Mustang did you say that was?
Well, it's the plans for the Claire Silvering.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the plans for his.
Yeah. It's a pretty interesting build. It's obviously it's been kind of stretched out a little bit. Call it semi-scale. But it's built well. I think so. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
It's from what, about 65 or somewhere in there?
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I competed against Claire.
Thank you, Danny.
Buckeye. He was flying that Mustang in Buckeye when I was flying there.
I'll be dang. Yeah, it was just one of those things where it was, I like some of the old classic designs and stuff like that, and at my level, I don't need big airplanes yet, so 40 size is just fine. Yeah, so I figured it was something to put together. Yeah.
So what is the wingspan? What do you use for power in your Mustang?
Well, that's going to be a Fox 35 as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But just in case, I put a 5.5 ounce tank in there, in case I need to, put a little bit more gumption in there. Yeah.
Well, Fox 35 is good to about 43 ounces, but after that, you really need to think about more power.
That's kind of where I'm at. That's what I was trying to keep it there, But if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll
Well, you could spend a couple of $100 extra on the Fox 35 and bring it up to almost the power of an OS Max.
Well, true. Yeah. I've got other engines. Yeah. For me, it was kind of for nostalgia's sake, and I've flown one of the Dave's airplanes with a really, really nice running Fox. I mean, for that size, don't get me wrong. I understand there's a lot of other engines that are just better, but it was like a clock, 10 and 2. Yeah. It turned on exactly when you thought it would, and turned off exactly when you thought it would.
Nice.
Didn't you fly that with the Johnson 35?
You might be right. The original was a Johnson.
Yeah, he had a small case Johnson.
Yeah.
Good motor. Johnsons were okay.
Really?
Just heavier than a McCoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Fox 35 I'm looking forward to trying next year. It's got the Hemi head with the slant plug and the stuffer back plate. I don't know if it's got the high zoot crankshaft or whatever in it, but I just had forgotten that it was given to me at one time. It looks brand new. So I'm looking forward to trying that one out.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, I've been picking up engines along the way, and I've got a lot of engines for future use. Yeah, I got, but I'm just not ready for that yet. I'll keep to my 40 size and hang in there for another season or so. I mean, I've got a PA 75. I've got what am I going to do with that now, other than oil it and keep it in the box until I'm ready for it? Some good 40s, some LA 46s. So anyway, I got a Rojet 65. It was actually one of Wendy's old motors that Dubjet had redone. I checked the serial number and he had redone it. So like I said, I'm planning for the future, but
Yeah, I've done that too. I got engines for the future also.
Yeah, that's all good.
My wife calls
A
that
lot
too
of us
many
have engines
motors.
for the never.
Hey, if you guys watch YouTube, there's a video being shown right now. I think it's in Great Britain. I can't swear to that, but a guy who made a V12 for a
Oh my gosh.
P-51. And the
Mhm.
P-51 is not very big. It's a top flight kit. I think that airplane might be 65-inch wingspan. It's a 12-cylinder. It is gorgeous. He has an electric
Wow.
starter on it. It's worth watching it.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I mean, for real 12.
I saw it pop up on my screen, but I haven't watched it yet. I've been
Yeah,
meaning to.
it's awesome. Beautifully done.
So Mark,
Did
do you
he
think
use-
he
did he use
qualified for
Fox
builder of the model
35
rule?
pistons? Or-
I'm sorry?
Did he use Fox 35 pistons and cylinders and Hemi heads and a stuffer backplate on it? So
I don't think so, because it seemed to work pretty well.
Do you think he qualified for builder of model rule?
yeah,
Uh,
BOM,
yeah.
builder of the motor. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
BOM.
I'm telling you.
It's-
I think about something like that, and the first thing crosses my mind is 12 glow plugs. Oh my God.
Oh, at this time, how much expensive they are? That's
Yeah.
that's pretty expensive. Yeah, that's
I have a feeling that's his least concern.
Probably.
You know,
Because that
You know, on
motor
the
probably
topic
took him a year or two to
of
build.
the Englishman building wild engines, it's
Yeah.
not directly airplanes, but well, one of them is. He built a V twin out of a couple of Pratt and Whitney cylinders, but Alan Milliard, if you want to see some fascinating videos of an absolute genius with minimal tools, look him up.
well,
And apparently
radial
his real
cylinders
job
would be a
is
heck of a starting point.
nuclear scientist.
That Milliard guy built a Kawasaki V8 motorcycle. I mean, he's right. It's the coolest.
Or his V10 Viper engine bike looks production and it blows away that piece of crap that Chrysler had commissioned.
You talking about Chrysler commissioned a motorcycle? Or are you talking about
Yep.
the V10?
Yep. And they had dual wheels, front and back, and the thing apparently could barely go 10 feet without falling over.
all right.
Milliards rode his to over 200 miles an hour with a passenger.
Oh, he's nuts.
Right. Well, you
Yeah,
guys.
anyway, back to
yeah,
airplanes.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I was thinking about ending the stream anyhow. So hey, thanks
Yeah.
for coming in, and we've had a really good conversation about what we've been doing lately, and also we had a topic about the overhead 8, and I think we did a good job talking about that. So hopefully this is the weekend, and you can have a chance to go do some flying or work in your shop, and come back Monday and tell us all about. I think Monday is that. That's not Halloween, is it?
30th. Yeah.
30th.
30th. Okay.
Day
No,
before.
Come
my
back.
granddaughter's
Monday.
birthday.
Except before we go, Sparky's got to tell us what he's having for supper.
It's the Zatarans.
Oh, right.
Zanrans.
Yeah. It's Polish sausage and right. It's Zatarans. It's just a box of stuff. It's good stuff.
All right. Well, anyways, hey, on that note, we're going to end the live stream, and we can carry on in the after party. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. And if you happen to be watching this as a replay, you can do this super thanks. Please do that. Please subscribe. Please comment and share.